Hello and welcome back to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. I'm Tony, your host, and I'm really excited about today's topic. Every single day we make so many decisions, don't we? From what to wear, to what to eat, to much bigger things like choosing a job or even where to live.
That's so true, Tony. It's like a constant stream of choices. And sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming. I'm Jenny, and I'm really happy to be here today to talk about this because I think making decisions is a skill, and it's something we can all get better at. For our listeners who are learning English, understanding how people talk about choices and the process of deciding is super helpful.
Absolutely, Jenny, and it's not just about right or wrong choices, is it? It's about understanding the process and feeling confident in the choices you make. So today, we're going to explore how to make a decision. We'll share some ideas, real-life examples, and hopefully some helpful tips for all of you out there. Let's dive in!
Sounds great! So, Tony, where do we even begin when we talk about making a decision? Sometimes, I feel like my brain just freezes when I have a big choice to make.
That's a fantastic starting point, Jenny. I think the first core idea or question we should ask ourselves is, what is the why behind this decision? It sounds simple, but often we jump straight to the what, without understanding why we need to make the choice in the first place. What are your goals? What are your values? For example, if you're deciding on a new job, is your why about more money, better work-life balance, or a chance to learn new skills? Knowing this helps you filter the options.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I can totally relate to that. I remember when I was trying to decide whether to move to a new city for a job. My initial thought was, this city is bigger, more exciting. But then I had to stop and ask myself, why do I really want to move? Was it just for excitement? Or was it about career growth, being closer to family, or experiencing something new? Once I understood my why, which was about personal growth and a specific career opportunity, the decision became much clearer. The excitement was just a bonus.
Exactly. It's like having a compass. If you don't know your destination, any road will do, right? But if you know you want to go north, you look for roads going north. So understanding your personal goals or values is key. It helps you decide what's truly important to you. Sometimes, you might even realize you don't need to make that decision at all if it doesn't align with your why.
That's a very powerful insight, Tony. So once we know our why, what's the next step? Because even with a clear why, there can be many options, right?
Definitely. And that leads us to our second core idea, gathering information. You can't make an informed decision without facts. This means doing a bit of research, talking to people, and looking at the pros and cons. Think about buying a new phone. You wouldn't just pick the first one you see, would you? You'd read reviews, compare prices, check features like camera quality or battery life. This is the stage where you collect all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yes, the research phase. I love this part, actually. I tend to over-research sometimes, though. My husband jokes that I could write a book on any toaster before I buy it. But seriously, it's so important. I remember once I had to decide on a new health insurance plan. It felt incredibly complicated. There were so many different companies, different levels of coverage. It was overwhelming. But I took the time to read the details, compare the benefits, and even call the companies to ask questions. It took hours, but in the end, I felt confident that I picked the best plan for my family's needs, and that feeling was worth the effort.
That's a perfect example, Jenny. And it highlights that gathering information doesn't mean just reading. It means asking, listening, comparing. Sometimes, it means creating a simple pros and cons list. For big decisions, I find those lists really helpful. You write down all the positives of one choice and all the negatives, and then do the same for the other options. It helps you see things more clearly on paper.
I use pros and cons lists too. They are super helpful, especially when I'm deciding between two similar things, like choosing a vacation spot. Beach or mountains? Pros of beach, sun, relaxation. Cons of beach, too hot, crowds. Pros of mountains, hiking, quiet. Cons of mountains, unpredictable weather. It makes the abstract more concrete.
Exactly. Okay, so we've understood our why and we've gathered our information, but what about that feeling you get? That gut feeling? That brings us to our third point. Trusting your gut versus logic. How do you balance intuition with all those facts and figures?
This is a tricky one. My gut feeling is often right, but sometimes it's just fear talking, you know? For instance, I remember once I had an opportunity to give a presentation at a large conference. Logically, it was a great chance for my career, good exposure, good for networking. All the facts pointed to yes, but my gut, or maybe my nerves, was screaming, no. I was so scared of speaking in front of so many people. It was a real battle between my brain saying, do it, and my stomach saying, run away.
Wow, I can totally relate to that. That's a classic example, and it's important to distinguish between fear and true intuition. Sometimes, your gut feeling is based on past experiences or subconscious knowledge that your brain hasn't fully processed yet. Other times, it's just anxiety. I think a good way to balance them is to use your logic to explore the risks. If your gut says no, but all the facts say yes, try to figure out what that no feeling is really about. Is it a real danger, or just discomfort with something new?
That's a very smart way to look at it. I think the key is not to ignore your gut completely, but to question it. Like with my conference example, I eventually realized my gut feeling was just stage fright. The logical benefits outweighed the fear, so I pushed through it, and it turned out to be a great experience. But there are other times when my gut has warned me about a situation or a person, and I've learned to listen to that more carefully. It's like a quiet voice trying to tell you something important. It's about learning to recognize the difference between fear and true intuition.
Precisely. It's a skill that develops with practice. Okay, so we've covered the why, gathering information, and balancing gut and logic. But what about the biggest challenge for many people? The fear of making a bad decision. This is our fourth point, overcoming analysis paralysis.
Oh, analysis paralysis. I know that feeling all too well. It's when you have too many options, or you're so worried about making the wrong choice that you end up making no choice at all. It's like standing in front of an ice cream shop with 50 flavors, and you just can't pick one, so you leave without ice cream. It's frustrating because doing nothing is also a choice, and often, it's not the best one.
Ha! The ice cream analogy is perfect. I remember once I was trying to decide which university course to study. I researched every single one, read prospectuses, talked to students, but I was so afraid of picking the wrong one that I almost missed the application deadline. I was frozen, just thinking about all the what-ifs. What if I don't like it? What if it's too hard? What if I choose a course and then realize I prefer something else?
That sounds incredibly stressful. How did you get unstuck?
Well, my dad actually helped me. He said, Tony, there's no such thing as a perfect decision. Just make the best decision you can with the information you have now, and if it's not quite right, you can always adjust later. That really helped me to let go of the pressure of perfection. I realized that not deciding was actually the worst decision. I eventually picked a course, and while it wasn't perfect, it opened up many doors and led me to where I am today. I think the key is to understand that good enough is often perfect enough.
That's such good advice from your dad. Good enough is perfect enough. I'm going to remember that. It's true. Sometimes we spend so much time looking for the best option that we miss out on good opportunities. It's about setting a deadline for yourself, too, sometimes. Say by Friday, I will choose X or Y, and then stick to it. It forces you to move forward. Plus, accepting that you can change your mind later or adjust takes a lot of pressure off.
Exactly, and that leads us to our final point, which is really important for continuous improvement, learning from decisions. Every decision, whether you see it as good or bad, is an opportunity to learn. It's not about never making a mistake, but about growing from them.
This is so true. I think this is where real wisdom comes from. I remember when I decided to try a new hobby, learning to play the ukulele. I bought a really expensive one, thinking, more expensive means better. But then I realized it was too big for my hands and it was hard to hold. It was a bad decision in terms of the instrument choice. But from that, I learned that research isn't just about price, it's about suitability, about matching the item to my specific needs. My next ukulele was much cheaper and perfect for me. The bad decision taught me a valuable lesson.
What a great story, Jenny. It's like a mini adventure, and that's the spirit we need. Sometimes we make a choice, and it doesn't work out as we planned. Maybe we chose a job that wasn't a good fit, or we moved to a place we didn't like. Instead of regretting it endlessly, we can ask ourselves, what did I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? It builds resilience and makes you a smarter decision maker in the future.
Yes, exactly. And it teaches you self-compassion too. It's okay not to be perfect. The goal isn't to be perfect, but to be intentional and to learn. Looking back, some of my wrong turns have actually led me to unexpected and wonderful places, or taught me something I really needed to know about myself. It's all part of the journey.
Absolutely, it really is. So, to recap our main points for making decisions. First, understand your why, your goals and values. Second, gather information and do your research. Third, balance your gut feeling with logic. Fourth, don't let the fear of a bad decision stop you. Overcome analysis paralysis. And finally, remember to learn from every decision you make.
Those are such clear and actionable points, Tony. I think our listeners will find them very helpful. And to add to that, I have a few key takeaways or tips for our listeners today, based on everything we've talked about.
Great, Jenny. Let's hear them.
Okay, my first tip is start small. Don't wait for a huge life decision to practice these skills. Practice with little things, like choosing what movie to watch or what to cook for dinner. The more you practice making small decisions, the more confident you'll feel when bigger decisions come along.
That's brilliant. It's like practicing scales on a piano before you play a concerto.
Exactly. My second tip is don't aim for perfect, aim for informed or good enough. As you said earlier, Tony, chasing perfection often leads to no decision at all. Be confident that you've done your best with the information you have and move forward.
Yes, perfection is the enemy of good, as they say. And your third tip?
My third and final tip is be kind to yourself. Even if a decision doesn't turn out as you hoped, it's not a failure. It's a lesson. Every decision helps you learn more about yourself and the world. So treat yourself with kindness. Learn and keep going.
Those are fantastic takeaways, Jenny. Be kind to yourself is probably the most important of all. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your insights and stories. This has been a really engaging and informative conversation.
My pleasure, Tony. I really enjoyed it. It's always great to talk about something so fundamental to our daily lives.
Absolutely. And for all our listeners out there, we hope this episode on how to make a decision gives you some new tools and confidence. Start applying these tips in your daily life, and you'll notice a big difference. We'd love to hear about a decision you've made recently and what you learned from it. Share your thoughts in the comments below, or send us a message.
Yes, please do. Your stories help us all learn. And remember, every choice you make, big or small, is a step on your journey. So choose with confidence.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you again for tuning in to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe for more episodes, and we'll be back soon with another exciting topic. Goodbye for now.
Bye, everyone. Happy choosing.